And together, one more look over here, please.
Scott Wolf and wife Kelley divorcing after 21 years of marriage.
20 years on this earth, have been through big ups, big downs, everything in between, and I wouldn't trade a minute of it for anything. So I love you, Kelly Marie Wolf.
For over 2 decades, Scott Wolf and Kelley Wolf appeared to be one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. But behind the curtain of smiles, red carpet appearances, and family photos was a story that has now unraveled in public view, stunning fans and raising serious questions about love, control, and mental health. In this emotional deep dive, we explore the events leading up to their highly publicized divorce, the shocking hospital detainment of Kelley, and the complex family dynamics at the center of it all. Scott Wolf, best known for his role as Bailey Salinger on the 1990s hit show Party of Five, captured hearts across America. Kelley Wolf, née Limp, a familiar face from MTV's The Real World, New Orleans, brought her own charm and charisma to their pairing. The two met in 2002. Fell in love quickly, and married in 2004. For years, they seemed like the perfect match, a Hollywood couple that had beat the odds.
Brace yourself. It goes like this. Give me a G! Give me an R! Give me an A! Give me an N! Give me a T!
Together, they raised 3 children, Jackson 16 Miller, 12, and Lucy 11. The family relocated to Park City, Utah, embracing a quieter life outside of the typical LA spotlight. For many fans, the Wolves symbolize stability, love, and enduring family values. In June 2025, news broke that Scott Wolf had filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The date June 9th marked the official legal end of a 21-year marriage. In a public statement, Scott described the decision as the most difficult of my life and asked for privacy to focus on co-parenting their children. The very next day, Kelley Wolf took to Instagram with a different narrative. She shared that she had initiated the separation nearly a year earlier, but was legally unable to file first. Her tone was one of peace and resolution. This has been a long time coming, and I've made my peace. She thanked fans for their support and emphasized the importance of kindness and protecting their kids. But then, the story took a sudden and dramatic turn. On June 13th, 2025, just days after Scott filed for divorce, police were called to the couple's Park City home. According to 911 audio released later, a woman, believed to be Kelley, told authorities she felt unsafe. She claimed psychological abuse and said she had been blocked from re-entering her own home.
Don't! Oh my God. This is not happening. Fine, I'll go. I'll go on my own. Please, I'll go on my own.
You got that arm? Yep.
Wow. Wow. This is shameful, gentlemen. Look at this. Look at this woman. This is shameful. Be ashamed. Be ashamed of yourselves, gentlemen.
You're not going to jail or nothing. We just want
I know what I'm doing. I've done this. This is my job. Shame on all of you.
You made some comments to your dad and comments to people that are concerning.
You might want to turn this
Make
off.
sure you're okay.
It's on. Would you like to turn it off? You want me to turn it off?
Turn the word
Okay,
off.
fine. My phone was recording.
Good.
I didn't mean to. It
You
was.
can turn it off if you'd like me
Please
to.
turn it off.
Okay.
Please. I think this is shameful, and Scott Wolf has been abusing me, and now you're abusing me more.
We haven't talked to Scott Wolf.
Well, turn it off. Please hand me my phone to my right. Hand it to my hand right now. Thank you.
Officers arrived and conducted a mental health evaluation. Kelley was detained and transported to a hospital for observation. The incident, captured partially on her Instagram live feed, showed her being taken by officers, leaving followers both shocked and concerned. Kelley later posted images of a hospital wristband, a drink cup, and a cryptic caption, "I was held against my will." She insisted that well-meaning friends had called authorities out of concern, but that she had not harmed herself or others. "I refused every medication they offered. I was clear and calm," she wrote. She hinted at potential legal action over the detention. Kelley also described an earlier incident involving a group she referred to as the Army of Eight. According to her, these individuals intervened when she initially tried to file for divorce months prior. She claims she was again held against her will, emotionally pressured, and ultimately prevented from taking the legal steps to separate. While she didn't name those involved, Kelley emphasized that these experiences were not isolated and that she had been working through emotional trauma for nearly a year. Her posts were filled with a mix of resolve and weariness. "I've been healing," she wrote, "and I'm okay. Also, I am happy. Happier than I have ever been," she added. Scott Wolf has largely remained silent throughout the ordeal. However, he did post a rare Instagram update, a photo of himself with their 3 children captioned, "On the road with my forever squad." It was a subtle message, perhaps an effort to focus public attention on family and moving forward. He has not responded directly to Kelley's claims, nor addressed the hospital incident publicly, but those close to the couple suggest that Scott is trying to shield the children from the public fallout and maintain some semblance of normalcy. What makes this divorce so compelling and heartbreaking is how starkly different the narratives have become. Scott's official statements frame the split as mutual and respectful. Kelley, on the other hand, portrays a deeply painful journey involving control, institutionalization, and emotional manipulation. Kelley addressed the incident, calling it one of the darkest things I've ever experienced. These dual realities leave fans grappling with conflicting emotions. Was this a story of a family torn apart by misunderstanding, or a woman fighting for autonomy after years of being silenced? Kelley's detainment has also reignited conversations about mental health rights, especially for women in high-pressure public relationships. Many of her followers have voiced concern about how easily someone can be institutionalized, even temporarily, based on vague concerns from others. "This is why women don't speak up," one supporter wrote in the comments of Kelley's Instagram. "They fear being labeled unstable when they're just standing their ground." In response, Kelley has used her platform to raise awareness about the issue, vowing to speak more openly about what she endured. "It wasn't about mental health, it was about control," she said in a follow-up post. Despite the drama, both Scott and Kelley have affirmed their commitment to co-parenting their children. In statements and social media posts, they've each described the kids as their top priority. But how does one co-parent after such a public and painful unraveling? Experts suggest that transparency, therapy, and a strong support network are essential in situations like these. And while fans may never know the full truth behind closed doors, the focus should remain on protecting the emotional well-being of their children. As of mid-June 2025, Scott and Kelley Wolf's divorce proceedings are ongoing. Kelley has hinted at legal action regarding her hospital detainment, and it's unclear whether custody arrangements will become contested. Scott continues to remain largely out of the spotlight, focusing on his work and time with his children. Kelley, meanwhile, has embraced a more public path, sharing updates, photos, and emotional reflections with her followers. Whether these paths will converge again in healing or further conflict remains to be seen. The story of Scott and Kelley Wolf reminds us that even the most picture-perfect love stories can fracture behind the scenes. It's a sobering reminder that marriage is complex and that fame often conceals deep emotional struggles. For fans who grew up watching Party of Five, it's painful to see one of their favorite stars in the midst of such turmoil. But perhaps there is a lesson here, that speaking out, even when messy, is better than suffering in silence. Kelley Wolf is reclaiming her voice. Scott Wolf is protecting his peace. And somewhere in the middle, 3 children are watching, learning, and hoping for a softer ending. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops, with compassion, curiosity, and hope for healing on all sides. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more real-life Hollywood updates and nostalgic deep dives. What do you think about Kelley's claims and Scott's silence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're listening. And stay tuned, because this story isn't over and we'll be here with every update.
When I got into it, I just wanted to freak people out when I pull up at a stoplight. I just wanted people to dig my stuff, you know, and that was the whole reason I got into it. It started as a hobby, really, and I just picked those skills up because I couldn't afford to get anybody to do it for me.
While reality TV chased chaos, Joe Martin quietly built a legacy on integrity, refusing to fake drama, speed up builds, or sell out his shop for the spotlight. As networks pushed for conflict and faster content, he stood his ground, losing team members, but never his vision. In a world of noise, Martin's silence became his rebellion, and his authenticity changed the game forever. Before the glossy shop shots and polished builds aired to millions, Joe Martin was simply a guy with a welder, a vision, and zero interest in the spotlight. In the early 2000s, Martin had already established himself as a force in the custom motorcycle scene through Biker Build-Off, a gritty competition series that highlighted fabrication over flash. His motorcycles weren't just machines. They were metal poetry, featuring flowing lines, raw power, and finishes so clean they looked carved from shadow. Martin won not just the competition, but the admiration of serious builders across the country. However, he also witnessed the hidden cost of reality TV fame. Producers consistently pushed for bigger personalities, quicker turnarounds, and more dramatic television moments. Many participants were more interested in camera time than craftsmanship, and Martin took careful notes about what he would and wouldn't accept if television came calling again. Years later, when Velocity Network, later Motor Trend, approached Martin with a new show concept, he hesitated. The producers promised something different this time. A shop in the Texas Hill Country, a team of real builders instead of actors, and programming focused on process rather than personalities. Martin agreed, but with one non-negotiable condition: no staged drama. This decision shaped everything about Iron Resurrection. Martin brought his wife Mandy into the project not as a storyline device, but because she already managed the business operations of their shop. Her presence wasn't scripted. It was earned through years of running Martin Brothers Customs. Alongside trusted crew members like Shag, Shorty, and Kato, Iron Resurrection was born with an unusual foundation: authenticity. The show delivered something rare in automotive television. The builds were genuine, the timelines reflected actual restoration work, and the tension emerged from the steel itself: rusted, bent, and challenging to transform. What followed was programming that didn't insult its audience's intelligence. There was no yelling, no artificial clock-beating chaos, just calm, confident fabrication executed by people who genuinely knew their craft. But maintaining this authentic approach in reality TV came with significant battles behind the scenes. As Iron Resurrection gained a loyal fan base, producers began applying familiar pressure tactics. They pushed for more content, faster editing schedules, and what they called spicier moments. The network wanted storylines, interpersonal conflict, accelerated timelines, and emotional narrative arcs that could drive viewer engagement metrics. Martin's response was characteristically direct. He refused every compromise. He didn't speed up builds to accommodate shooting schedules. He didn't manufacture arguments to fill airtime. His rule was simple: the build was the star, not the builder. If the restoration work wasn't completed properly, the cameras waited. If authentic drama didn't naturally occur, it didn't make it to television. This philosophy created mounting tension, not within Martin's crew, but between production expectations and his quiet resistance. The pressure eventually took its toll on the team. Shorty, the fan-favorite painter known for his exceptional finishing work, stepped away from the show. Kato, the trusted metal fabrication specialist, also departed. Neither departure included official explanations, farewell episodes, or public statements. They were simply gone. Fans immediately began speculating about the behind-the-scenes dynamics. Some theorized about contract disputes, while others suspected creative differences or burnout from the demanding production schedule. A few believed producers had pressured Martin to replace cast members with more television-friendly personalities, something Martin quietly refused to consider. However, those familiar with Martin's character understood these weren't dramatic falling outs. The departures likely reflected personal decisions related to family priorities, health considerations, or simply life's evolving circumstances. Martin, demonstrating his consistent respect for privacy, never turned these professional changes into media spectacles. Instead, he adapted the shop's energy, continued the builds, and honored departing team members by maintaining the same craftsmanship standards that originally earned their fan loyalty. While other automotive content creators embraced social media saturation, Martin took a radically different approach. He avoided daily YouTube uploads, flashy Instagram content, live-streamed builds, and viral trend participation. His content strategy was deliberately slow, intentional, and focused. He appeared when he had something meaningful to contribute, then returned to his primary work: shaping steel. This approach resonated with audiences seeking substance over spectacle. Martin's viewers understood they weren't watching manufactured drama. They were observing genuine craftsmanship, learning restoration techniques, and appreciating authentic skill development. In an industry increasingly dominated by clickbait content and compressed attention spans, Martin's methodical approach felt revolutionary. The cost of maintaining integrity in reality television became increasingly apparent as Iron Resurrection continued. While other automotive shows secured major sponsorship deals, cross-promotional opportunities, and national marketing campaigns, Martin's program followed a notably quieter path. It didn't receive primetime placement, wasn't loaded with commercial tie-ins, and certainly didn't produce seasons on accelerated schedules. Martin deliberately rejected opportunities that would have significantly increased his income. He turned down merchandise licensing deals, branded product endorsements, and paid appearance opportunities that other television personalities readily accepted. To Martin, monetizing his reputation beyond his actual work would have represented a fundamental betrayal of his craft and his audience. Martin Brothers Customs remained exactly what it had always been, a working garage filled with genuine respect for metal fabrication, rather than transforming into a tourist attraction or flashy retail storefront. This decision came with financial consequences, but Martin prioritized long-term authenticity over short-term profit maximization. The mystery surrounding Shorty and Kato's departures highlighted Martin's approach to privacy and professional relationships. Fans never received farewell episodes, official statements from the network, or detailed explanations about the personnel changes. The absence of information naturally generated theories. Some fans suspected contract negotiations had failed, others believed behind-the-scenes tension had developed, and some thought producers had demanded cast changes Martin wouldn't support. Martin's response to speculation was consistent with his overall media philosophy: complete silence. He didn't address rumors, pursue interviews to clarify situations, or engage with critics questioning the show's direction. His approach demonstrated that not everything has to be explained publicly, especially when those explanations might compromise other people's privacy or dignity. This silence strategy extended to Martin's broader media presence. In an era where oversharing functions as social currency, Martin's commitment to privacy became one of his most powerful professional statements. Networks sometimes hesitate to promote personalities who won't participate in traditional publicity activities, and social media growth typically stalls without constant engagement. However, Martin's following deepened rather than expanded, attracting viewers specifically seeking inspiration over entertainment drama. Mandy Martin's role deserves particular recognition in understanding Iron Resurrection's success. From the first episode, Mandy operated as the business spine of the operation. While cameras focused on fabrication work, Mandy managed financial operations, sourced parts, negotiated supplier relationships, and maintained the operational systems that kept Martin Brothers Customs functional. Rather than being positioned as a supporting character or relationship storyline, Mandy carved out her professional space with calm precision. She didn't participate in artificial conflicts, pose for dramatic shots, or transform her business role into television content. Martin's influence on the broader automotive fabrication community extends far beyond television ratings. Serious fabricators and custom car enthusiasts reference his work when discussing quality standards and professional approaches. His approach represents blue-collar mentorship at its finest, teaching through demonstration rather than instruction, inspiring through consistent quality rather than motivational speeches. Martin's legacy proves that longevity beats popularity in building sustainable professional respect. He didn't pursue influencer status, chase viral content, or monetize every aspect of his expertise. Instead, he built his reputation one weld, one restoration, one perfectly shaped curve at a time. He was the face of speed on the big screen, but what Paul Walker left behind in real life stunned even his closest friends. When he died in 2013, the world mourned the actor who brought Brian O'Connor to life in The Fast and the Furious. But behind the Hollywood image was a hidden world, a garage that told a story more complex, more human, and far more emotional than anyone could have imagined. To fans, Paul Walker was the embodiment of cool, a street racing legend, the undercover cop with a good heart. But in private, Paul was a builder, a collector, and a quiet philanthropist. He didn't just act in car movies, he lived the culture. His passion wasn't performative, it was real, raw, and deeply personal. He wasn't interested in using his fame for status, Paul could have easily flaunted his cars, leveraged social media for attention, or turned his garage into a public display. But he didn't. Instead, he kept it sacred, a quiet retreat where the only applause came from the roar of engines and the hum of ongoing builds. Few knew the full extent of Paul's car obsession.